So in recursion, there are a few more things to be discussed. First of all, there are two types of recursion, as we have already seen recursion, direct and indirect. Direct recursion means a function call itself. This is direct recursion, while this indirect recursion, this means you have f and g, two functions. F calls g, g call f. This is a kind of indirect recursion. You may land up with certain problem if you are not performing this indirect recursion properly. Let us see an example for this. We have defined a function. I am just saying that this function is perfect, but the error may come at which point that I am going to highlight. This is a function which has been declared for the signature. This is a function g, and inside this we are calling f, and again we have f, inside this we are calling g. Now in this function f, if this g is called, there is no problem because g is defined earlier, or rather totally initialized, programmatized earlier. But what happens if I delete this line? Function g is using f without f being even present or being even prototype. This is the problem which I was talking about. When we talk about direct recursion, if the function call itself, then there are two terms. First of all, we have head recursion and then we have tail recursion. So this refers to when the call happens. For example, if the call happens at the end of the function, this is called tail recursion, and this can easily be replaced by a loop. And when the recursive call happens earlier than the end, that is at the beginning, we call it as a head recursion. So head recursion, it turns out to be able to easily do some surprising things such as printing strings or linked list in reverse order. That is why we have two distinctions of recursion: head recursion and tail recursion. And this distinction is not quite huge, but it's possibly good to have these terms in your mind. One more thing, that whenever you are dealing with recursion, please remember that certain programming languages, which are functional languages, we generally have problems that can be solved using recursion, and some of them do not even have loops. This is very surprising. Some programming language does not have or do not have loops. Everything is being done by them with the help of recursion only. For example, ML. There is a variant of ML, that is OCaml, Lisp, Scheme, Haskell, Gopher. There are various others, and this ML is actually used in industry. Lisp is used in Emacs editor. These functional languages make functions much more central than the procedure one. Therefore, it is very typical to write a function that takes another function as an argument. This is why the rescue is the type of recursion. Let us take an example. You may think of a function g that operates on an array or a list and gets passed another function f, this f as an argument. And what it does is apply f to each element of this array list. You could have a function that turns each entry of an array into a string, which is called a map. There is another common thing, that is to have a function h that applies some other function to compute a single output from this entire array list. And the example, if we take, we can sum the elements of array or list and compute the maximum. This is called reduce. So we have map and we have reduce also. These programs that are written by applying these two types of operations can easily be parallelized over large computation clusters. That is why this map reduced framework has become quite popular, which is, for example, Hadoop. So this has led to a resurgence in interest in some aspect of functional programming, because functional programming is totally being, you can say that it is overpowered by our object oriented, and later this object based. All these things are coming up and they are into industry. So from a practical viewpoint, when we write functional program, this often takes longer to get the programmer to compile. Why? Because many logical mistakes that may lead to some unwanted behavior in C++, this can't even be properly implemented in a functional language. And once this functional program compiles correctly, this is much more often bug free than the procedural program, assuming both are written by fairly experienced programmers like you. Then let us talk about recursive definition. Till now we have talked about recursion just as a programming technique, right? But the important application of this recursion is as a way of specifying objects concisely by virtue of its recursive definition. So recursive definition, not only programming technique, but we have a very good aspect, that is to specify object concisely. Whenever we will be talking about list, stack, heaps, trees and other important data structures, this is going to be very handy. Let us see recursive definition examples. The first of these examples that we will be talking about, that you define pretty easy without this recursion. Just like our earlier example, as we have already seen, while the coming ones may be more involved. For example, a string of lowercase letter can be either an empty string, often written as this sign or this sign or this symbol, or rather a letter from A to Z followed by a string of letters. This can be a string. The recursion happens in case 2, and case 1 is the base case. For this one, we could just have said that a string is a sequence of 0 or more lowercase letters. That would be fine. But we are trying to practice recursion. Now coming to a non-negative integer, which can be either 0 or n plus 1, where n has to be a non-negative integer. In this case, defining what exactly integers are without referring to integers in the first place may be somewhat confusing. Recursion will help. How? It says that there is a first one, which is 0, and a way to get 1 from the next one. How? 0, 1, and if we say 4, then the 4 shorthand will be, or a smaller version will be 0 plus 1, then plus 1, then plus 1, then plus 1. So this is a recursive definition. The first one will be 0, another will be 0 plus 1, that is 1. So this will be 0 plus 1. Again, it will be 0 plus 1. Likewise. Then coming to palindrome. Palindrome can be either an empty string or an empty string, or a single letter from A to Z, because single letter will always be a palindrome, or a string of this type XPX. What does it mean? This X is a single letter from A to Z, and P has to be a palindrome by itself. So P will be again XPX. This P again will be XPX till the time this P does not become a empty string or a single character. So we have two base cases. Here we need two base cases. In this case 3 is the recursion. And we notice that there is some other definition, popular definition of palindrome also. that a string that reads the similar forward as backward, like Malayalam. Malayalam is an Indian language, and from forward to backward, it is the same, which is correct, but much more procedural. It tells us how to test whether something is a palindrome, like is it similar forward or backward. But what we are interested in is it doesn't tell us how to describe all of them, because our being a computer person, a computer science person, we need to know how to describe them. So a simple algebraic expression consists of our numbers, variables, parenthesis, plus and star. And we don't leave out these two to keep this a little shorter. We will use abundant parenthesis and forget about the precedence order. How? We now want to express that something like this is legal, while this is illegal. As you can really see that this is 2 multiplication, this is not legal. By your mathematics intuition, you can very well see that this is not correct. And how to do is we can recursively say that the following means this are legal expression. Any number can be legal expression, which is the base class, and we could use a definition of numbers above we have just seen, or any variable. This is another base class, or HAI plus HBI. What is HAI? This is a legal expression. HBI is again a legal expression, and if you multiply it again, HAI has to be a legal expression and HBI is the same legal expression. From this example, you will be considering that is hard pressed to come up with non-recursive definition. So what we have written down here is actually a context-free grammar. You will be learning more in your automata theory courses. There is a tool which is called Bison. What is Bison? Which is a new version of YACC. What it does, it generates C code from parsing inputs that conform to the definition, some definition. It automatically generates C code. This is so helpful. They are quite useful if you are trying to actually define your own format of programming language. So, in fact, programming language on this we just discussed earlier, you can write down a complete recursive definition of this C and C++ or any programming language. And in fact, this is how programming languages are specified, right? So without recursion, there will be a lot of trouble in programming. So hopefully you got a bit idea about recursion. So this is where I say that recursion is finished, but note in later videos, various data structures which we are going to see will be using recursion and will be using a lot of recursion. Thank you so much. Take care.